Mrs. LeCouy.
Which district was trying to recruit Mr. McDaniel?
That was Bloomfield Hills.
Is it true that Mr. McDaniel officially applied for that position and accepted that offer 2 weeks ago?
It's true that Mr. McDaniel was recruited, and I believe they had him submit an application. I would assume so. That would be the norm.
Is it true that he accepted that offer on
Yes.
September 29th?
I don't know the date.
Is it true that he told RCS just on Friday that he agreed instead to continue with his job here?
It happened just this past week, late this past week, after discussion with me. Yes.
Mr. McDaniel, why did you accept the offer 2 weeks ago, only to back out of it on Friday?
Go ahead.
Trustee LeCouy, that's not the question. I mean, it shouldn't matter what Mr. McDaniel, why he made that decision. This is our decision of whether we're going to approve this salary change. Trustee Weaver?
So I want to approach this for a little bit different. So thank you for sharing more information, the details. I'm more concerned with the conflict of interest that this shows from your level, Mr. Severi. This is something I brought up at your appointment, which again, I encourage our board to take into consideration. But the fact is, you are employed by MLI.
Yes.
You take a salary from them. You are actively trying to find a superintendent for Bloomfield, correct?
Correct.
You placed the interim superintendent in Bloomfield, correct?
I helped that district identify interim candidates, including the person who's in that role now, yes.
Who also works for MIL, right?
He does.
Okay, so you have both people now currently serving as interim superintendents in the two districts that are both employed by MLI. You then have both of you working with one person to go from one district to the other. I pointed out specifically the conflict of interest that you've seen in the role that you are is the fact that by you taking an interim salary that is on par with the highest paid superintendent
Madam
in the
President,
state.
point of order. What's the relevance of this to the agenda item we're discussing?
Absolutely, I'm making my point.
This
I'm pointing
has
out
to do
the
with something
I'm pointing
totally
out
We're
the
going
different.
to allow
conflict of
him to
interest.
ask his question, and we'll see if
I'm
it's
pointing out
relevant
the
if you're going to
conflict of
get there.
interest. By you accepting an interim superintendent's salary that is on par with the highest superintendent's salary in the state, you are inflating your case that you made for Bloomfield that they need to up their salary to attract an appropriate candidate. Now you're making the case where you're upping the salary of admins, which would then say as admin salary go up, you can justify higher superintendent salaries. So again, you have to remember, the point is even the appearance of conflict of interest. This reeks of conflict of interest, and again, I go back to, you have initiated an independent audit on your own that is limited the scope, looking into potential wrongdoing.
Trustee Weaver, what does this have to do with our approval of this item? It's
Let
a
me
different
finish
item.
speaking and quit interrupting me.
It's not germane to this
So
item.
It's not
again,
germane. It is
if,
not germane.
If you have a potential conflict of interest that you are driving up salaries to benefit your full-time
Trustee
job,
Weaver.
which is the placement of superintendents, and then you have the fact that you are potentially looking at the position of our financials not being in order, would question why we would be making a raise until that audit findings are found. So one, you have the conflict of interest. Two, you have the outstanding audit. Either one of those would say approving a raise at this point for that position is absolutely unethical and uncalled for and below our board. We should wait minimally until the finding of that audit come back and figure out what is and is not being done within our financials.
Thank you.